We'll open this meeting of the Sheffield Selectboard. Thank CTSB, as always, for their great job they do covering the meetings. We'll start with the approval of meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes for March 14th, 2 sets, and March 19th, 2 sets.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Updates from the town clerk.
Good evening. Just a couple of brief updates. We're winding down on some seasonal work in our department right now. And so I'm putting one last push out there for dog licenses, which expired on March 31st. You have until May 1st to renew without penalty. Anyone that's in our system that we're aware of has received a phone call or email message, and we're hoping to finalize that work within the next couple of weeks, of course, by the first, without angry people. We also have, it's come to our attention, several people in town that are dog owners and have not licensed. So we are trying to encourage those folks to maybe consider coming in with bigger rabies and get your dog's license. You will not be penalized this year because they'll be considered new pets. You're getting a little bit of a break, but the dog officer is also aware, and probably after May 1st, she's going to start seeking you out and get you in there. There are health issues involved with that. We want to make sure everyone's pets are up to date on their rabies vaccines, some of the requirements for licensing. Anybody has any questions about the licensing process, they can just reach out to the office. Send an email, give us a phone call, whatever. Census work is the other thing. We have a deadline in a couple of weeks. We've also been making phone calls about that. By law, we have to do a second mailing. We have to make phone calls or send the police, which we choose not to do, to remind you. Yeah, so we have been making a lot of phone calls. It's the most cost-effective process in our office for reaching out, but it's taken a lot of time, probably close to 2 weeks, on top of some other work that's being done. So we'd like to encourage people to get those in. We have received some feedback from multiple people that they did not receive them. So we're hoping they weren't misplaced. We're hoping that maybe there's an issue with the mail that we can try and resolve. But we do need those forms back. We're also finding out that we have a lot of outdated census information. That trickles into your voter registration if you're a registered voter. And with the election schedule that we have coming up the next couple of months, it's really, really important that we have updated information. So even if you move kind of laterally within town, we need to know if you no longer have your P.O. box. We need to know if you have a change in your street address. Any changes to your voter registration especially, we need to know. The Secretary of State's office will be sending out postcards that came out last winter regarding the fall elections. So if you did not get an opportunity to request a vote by mail ballot, you will have an opportunity again, probably mid to late summer. Those cards will be coming out. So we want to make sure that people are receiving those in a timely manner. The fall primary, state primary, is the day after Labor Day. So it will be coming up quickly this year. Usually they push it back, a week, but this time that's not happening. So if you have college students that are going to be requiring ballots, it's really challenging having them go to their dorms because they tend to move around a little bit. Any questions? We want to make sure that things go as smoothly as possible by the fall. I think that's probably it. Just pay attention to our website. There's a lot of good information on there as events start coming for deadlines to register to vote. There are a lot of options to register to vote, and we'd be happy to guide you through that process. We do have our annual town meeting and election coming up the first 2 Mondays, respectively, in May. Town meeting, which I'm sure will be discussed by this board at some point, 6 o'clock is the start time, and it feels like the last couple of meetings, even though they've been specials, people are kind of trickling in after the meeting begins, and we'd kind of like to get our voters through and seated and ready to start promptly. The annual town, that's held at the high school. Annual town election is held at 25 Cook Road at our senior center. Polling hours for the annual town meeting are a little different than the state elections. We will be opening at 9 and closing at 7 for those elections. We do have vote by mail ballots available for that election up until Wednesday, May 1st, which is the deadline to request. Otherwise, you are committed to coming in person if you'd like to vote. My department does a lot of work. I'm giving us a plug for elections, and there is no contest at this moment, but I would really encourage people to come out and exercise their right to vote. Just a nice opportunity to do that, and we would appreciate the business. So other than that, unless you have any questions or thoughts on any of this, I think that's really it. We just want to get some business finalized this spring and get ready for the next wave, so.
Excellent.
Okay.
Any questions?
No.
Thank you, Phyllis.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you, Felicity.
Discussion action regarding electric vehicle charging stations. That's you, Renee.
Okay, our continuing saga. I have sent the contract back to them with changes, and they know I'm not a lawyer and this isn't final review, but if I can save us money doing the first shot. And they've got that. We have a conference call set up this Friday. They understand that they need to make it a municipal contract, and they're kind of, from what the message was today, they're kind of leaning more to look at what used to be the previous solar contracts that we entered into, thinking that that might be a good model. So we'll see what we can hash out on Friday. And then, of course, if the board is still in favor of that, then we will have to spend some legal money to have our counsel go over it. You don't want to have me be the last word on that, but I think we can get it pretty close. And again, this is for both of the stations here and at the library, and each of them would, if I remember this correct, it would be a full build-out of 2 stations with 2 ports each. Again, no cost to the town, no ongoing costs, no initial costs, but a rebate if in fact they make any profits. And I will probably see if we can't negotiate that rebate up just a little bit, because we would be the first municipality, and if we were willing to answer some questions on that, maybe we could make a little bit more, but that all has to come before the board. So I just wanted to let you know, I'm working on it.
Excellent.
Making
Very good.
progress.
Thank you for all your hard work on this, because it has been a process. Discussion, possible action regarding one-day alcohol licenses. Rhonda?
So we've been talking about issuing one-day licenses and what we require for insurance certificates, especially for the town park. It's becoming more popular for people to have their events over there. So I talked with our insurance company, and he suggests that you do not have a BYOB policy and not get a certificate of insurance for whatever event is going to be held there. If someone calls, wants an event there, and they want to have alcohol, it's always best to have a certificate of insurance for them covering the alcohol use. And second on these, we would like to develop some sort of paper that goes out with the application for all one-day alcohol licenses, reminding people that they have to purchase their alcohol from a wholesaler. Wholesalers are listed on the ABCC website. We have some right in town that are town businesses. The winery, the distillery, the brewery are all considered wholesale places where people could buy.
Well, that would be good and support local business.
It is. But you just can't go into a store that sells beer or wine and purchase a couple bottles of wine and then serve them at your function. You need to purchase from a wholesaler.
Is he going to develop that for us or give us a model? I'm sorry, I just thought you...
Insurance won't have anything to do with that, Renee.
No.
Insurance is only saying a certificate of insurance.
I thought that...
The thing that I want to develop, that I will develop, that goes out,
okay.
stating that by per state law, they have to purchase their alcohol from a wholesaler.
So if you want to have a party and you want your liquor, you need to have a
Correct.
Statement of insurance, and
And I know that it's expensive, but it's what has to be done.
it protects the town.
It does.
Okay. Thank you, Rhonda.
Do you want a motion on that?
Yes.
So I'll make a motion that we require a certificate of insurance on all events that our alcohol will be served at. There will be no bring your own booze situations allowed, and a purchase from a wholesaler is required.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, ratification of agreement with CTSB, Community Television.
Okay, so when we finished the charter spectrum agreement for the cable television, which the board has already ratified and signed and sent back to charter, the second part of that was to do a new agreement with Community Television of Southern Berkshires, which is our counterpart to charter. They carry all of the PEG channels, public education and government. So we've had that. That was negotiated out. We've had that, and it's been sent to all of the towns, and I'm just looking to have a ratification of that and a signature. We got several new things in that agreement, including higher insurance and liability, breach of contract. I mean, we tried to mirror many of the things that we got in the Charter Spectrum Agreement in the CTS agreement. It's been signed by the CTSB board chair, so it's now just up to us to either find fault with it and go back or ratify it.
I make a motion, we ratify the agreement as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Discussion, possible action regarding memorandum of understanding for police services. And this basically has to do with any person that is arrested, being held in custody, would be transported to Great Barrington. They would provide services. We just, for a fee, of course. This memorandum of understanding lists out all the legalities and the cost.
This is the same as,
So we've signed this agreement for the past several years. Not everybody would go to Great Barrington to be held. Sometimes they transport to Pittsfield. But if there's only one officer in duty or circumstances call for someone to be held in Great Barrington, it's got to be someone who's going to be held for less than 12 hours, and we are responsible for that. And for that prisoner. And it would be $150 per prisoner per day.
I think this has turned out to be a very reasonable agreement. We don't have our own cell, and it would cost quite a bit to build one. So I would make a motion that we, again, authorize our chair to sign this memorandum of understanding between the Sheffield Police Department and Great Barrington Police.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Discussion, possible action regarding tree maintenance on town property. So we have an email here from Tom Ingersoll regarding, I believe, his Arbor Day. I didn't check the date to make sure, but he would like permission to be able to do work, pruning, stuff on town-owned property, Barnard Park, Bushnell Sage, and the Green. He states here that all services will be held to certain standards, certified arborist standards.
They're very generous every year.
Yes.
They trim trees in Sheffield that we would have to pay for trimming or let the maintenance go on them. So I would make a motion that we graciously accept this work by the Sheffield Tree Project as outlined.
I'll second that.
And with all of our gratitude, I will take a vote. Everyone in favor?
Aye.
They do great work for our towns.
Yes.
Okay. Approval of a curb cut, Home Road.
I'll make a motion that we approve a curb cut request from Mary White on County Road, Home Road.
Home
Home Road, sorry.
Yep.
Permission is being requested for driveway, septic system, and foundation.
Second.
We have the signatures of our town highway super and police chief. A culvert is requested. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Board member items. Nadine?
Nothing.
Renee?
I've got just a few. I just want to remind everybody of the Sheffield Cleanup Day this Saturday, the 20th. They'll be doing cleanup meeting at the Ashley Falls Green, and then Jenny Russell has got yellow bags at her house on Berkshire School Road, right near Salisbury Road. There have been some people already cleaning up the roads, and thank you so much for doing that. The roads really look good, look bad this year, so I'm hoping we'll all get out there and do a little bit. I also want to let the board know that even though very enthusiastically at one of our meetings on March 14th, you all generously allowed me to apply and work with Rhonda on an urban and community forest environment justice grant. I'm going to have to taper off and back off on this. The deadline is the end of May or mid-May, and it's just given my current responsibilities. I bit off more than I could chew, so I'd like to just maybe pass on that for a year. I let Rhonda know that I can't do it, but I also want to let the board and the public know that. And then I didn't know if you were going to do this. If you want to, I will leave it for you.
No, you can go ahead.
Okay.
Please.
Then I'm going to just assume that this will be on behalf of the entire board. We lost George McGurn this very recently, and while he certainly was not a member of our Sheffield community in so many ways, he was very much aligned with so many of Sheffield's interests, and I just want to extend our deepest sympathies to his family, especially to his wife, Mary.
Thank you, Renee. Rhonda, do you have anything?
I don't.
Then I will take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Did you want to offer
Oh,
public comment first?
excuse me. I'm sorry, I've
So
done
now
it
somebody
again.
has to speak.
There you go. The pressure is on. Public comments, I am so sorry.
If not, I will make a motion
And I will
to
second it.
adjourn.
Motion adjourned.